Hello, everybody. My name is Sophia. I am from Maryland, primarily grew up in Montgomery County / PG County, and I got my undergraduate degree in community health with a minor in sociology. And I'm currently in a clinical mental health program at Liberty University. So it's been a journey so far, but I'm grateful that I've gotten to this point. So what brought me into the mental health field is when I was younger, I really struggled heavily with my social skills. I had some social anxiety and just had trouble interacting with peers and making friends. So that's what really brought me into the mental health field, just wanting to be that individual for a child who can be present with them and who allows them to be heard. Because I also struggled with some things in my personal life at that time as well. And I didn't know I had the opportunity to speak to someone or if that was even an option for me. So I thought after college, I was like, why not be that person that I needed back then? My free time, I like to watch animated movies. Inside Out 1 and 2, excellent movies. I like cartoons like Chowder, Flapjack, kind of some of the older cartoons, really. And I also like spending time with loved ones, friends, and just like enjoying the moment with them, like the present moment with them. Sometimes we live for the future and we don't embrace the present. So I just try to be present and spending time with them, and I enjoy it. So the last big trip I took was in 2019. I went to South Africa. I went to Cape Town and Johannesburg, and it was life-changing. It was beautiful, especially in Cape Town. So I would love to start traveling again, but these days I don't travel too often. But I'm hoping to get back out there soon. I would say I most resonate with topics such as anxiety, self-esteem, self-efficacy, establishing healthy boundaries, maintaining healthy boundaries, and establishing trust and building relationships. Let me see. I would also say just self-acceptance is something I want to specialize in as well. Just especially in working with the demographic group of children, teens, and adolescents, because it's such an impressionable time. Because usually during this time period, they're going through a lot of transitions, whether that's through middle to high school, elementary to middle, high school to college, or going into the workforce, or whatever that may be. You're constantly experiencing transitions. So I think with those topics specifically, that would be like a recurring thing within sessions. I would like to specialize in that. I would say primarily children, adolescents, and teenagers. However, I'm open to working with different demographic groups outside of that. Cognitive behavioral therapy, narrative therapy, and solution-focused therapy. Specifically with cognitive behavioral therapy, challenging those automatic thoughts that we sometimes have. And then in tangent with narrative therapy, sometimes we give ourselves like harmful narratives. So really challenging that as well, like what we're saying to ourselves, and really finding freedom in also taking power in being the authors of our own story, whether that's revising our story, rewriting our story, taking back the pen, his autobiography. So really just focusing on those 3 types of modalities, I think would be really cool. I would say it really depends on the client and meeting the client where they are in that present moment. one modality may not be as beneficial to one client compared to the next. So I think it's just primarily establishing that therapeutic relationship, that client counselor relationship, um, and then really getting to know the client and seeing what works best for them and just adjusting as necessary. Um, Maybe after a while, with meeting with a client, I could say, you know what, maybe this modality may be more beneficial compared to narrative therapy. Maybe cognitive behavioral therapy may be a better approach. So I think it depends on the relationship. And I think it depends on the client and where they are in that present moment, because that can change. I would define success as just improving by 1%. I think progress over perfection really is the goal, because we can't expect perfection. Coming out of therapy, you're not just going to be perfect. Um, you can only progress, and you have to put in the work daily to progress, you know? Um, and I think establishing realistic expectations and trying your best to meet those expectations and holding yourself accountable and just being better again by like 1% is success to me. I think just having the ability to help someone along their healing journey and seeing the progression through sessions and how much of an impact that can have on a client is like monumental. And I know you can't pour into a glass from an empty cup. So I think it's also important to hold myself accountable and saying, what are some ways that I'm incorporating self-care in my week? You know, how am I showing up for myself today? So really also holding myself accountable um, to be able to do what I do. So I think people should know about me before working with me is that um, this is a safe space, um, non-judgmental space, available to you. And I will meet you where you are. Um, this tone of voice, I'm always here, you know? And I look forward to seeing you soon. This book is called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And it really just challenges you to keep in mind the bigger picture. Sometimes it may be the smallest thing that goes wrong, and our lives can feel so detrimental in our lowest moments. You know, like the little things can add up, and it feels like, man, the world is ending. You know, this is my last straw. But it really challenges you to keep in mind the bigger picture, and that um, you have the strength and resilience to overcome this. You know, it's not as big as it looks. It feels big, but it's not as big as it looks. And it just challenges you to take a step back and say, you know what, this is a challenge. Um, this is how I'm going to get through it. Don't sweat the small stuff, because it's all small stuff. That's what the author kept saying in the book. It's all small stuff. Not to discount, you know, the things that we go through, you know, in our daily lives. It can feel big, you know, but it causes you to really reflect on what matters most to you in life. I would say, first of all, um, congratulations for trusting your intuition and acknowledging that um, I may need some help in this area, because it takes a lot of strength and vulnerability to acknowledge that you may be in a place where you're seeking some assistance. And there's nothing wrong with that by any means. So I would just say act on that intuition, because as I mentioned before, like, no one knows you better than you know yourself. And if you feel inclined to seek therapy, trust that intuition. It would be tikka masala with garlic naan. It's so good. I really just can't get enough. So it would be that meal. I would eat it every day. Mhm.